that I wanted to say earlier today.
Understand the concept of very graceful this morning.
Thank you. I don't know, I've just always...
So in today's video, I'm going to be talking on how to be productive, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys practical tips on how you can be productive. And these are actually things that have helped me personally. I'm not just coming to read off a script or something I got from the internet. It's actually what I have experienced in my personal life. So as some of you guys may know, I happen to be a perfectionist, and being a perfectionist usually comes with the tendency of being a procrastinator, because as a perfectionist, you are always waiting for the right time to do something, or the perfect time to do something, and you just end up postponing that thing till later, and before you know it, you're actually procrastinating. And so productivity, or the lack thereof, is something that I won't say battled with, or something that I have kind of struggled with for a while. And so in this video, I'm just going to be sharing with you the things that have helped me to get out of that and start being productive. So if you would like to know more, then you might want to stick around and keep on watching. So the first tip is actually what I feel is the most important tip, and that is to set your mind to be productive. The truth is, I can give you a million tips and tricks on how to be productive, but until you actually set your mind, until you actually make that mental decision to be productive, you are just going to end up not doing anything. And this, in my opinion, is actually the major game changer, because I realized that on the days when I woke up and I told myself, Fayo, you are going to be productive today, you are going to get stuff done today, I actually end up being productive on those days, rather than days that I just wake up without any plan in mind. So it actually starts from the mind. Everything that we do actually starts from the mind. So if you want to be productive, you have to get to that mindset of productivity. And one more thing I just want to say is that you can also make your mind attribute a good feeling to being productive rather than a bad feeling. Okay, let me just explain what I mean. Most times when we think about being productive, we think about having to do a lot of work, and if we're not careful, our brain will start to interpret that as something that you don't want to do, something that you don't feel like doing. But if you can condition your mind to start to see productivity as something that's actually good, you would be more willing to be productive. So when you think about being productive, think about it as a good thing. Think about it as something that you would enjoy. Don't just be thinking of the million things that you have to get done, but think about the satisfaction that you derive when you are productive. So the next tip is making use of to-do lists. So maybe this is quite obvious, but it's shocking to find out that there are still a lot of people that do not use to-do lists. So on the days that I want to be productive, I don't just wake up with that mindset of, oh, I want to be productive. I get my to-do list. I actually have a book that I use for that, and I also have an app on my phone that I also use, to just write down the things that I need to do for the day. So you can also get a book for that sole purpose. I think there are even books that are specifically made to act as to-do lists, and there are a lot of apps, trust me, a lot of apps that you can get. Some of them even come with reminder alarms and different other special features and benefits. So just get one that works for you and make use of it. Also, it is very advisable to fill your to-do list as early as possible. I usually write mine after I spend some time in the place of prayer, which is usually the first thing I do when I wake up. So instead of you waiting till you get into the day, it's usually better to write it as early as possible so you can gain direction for your day. Some people would even suggest that you write it the day or the night before, so that even from the very moment you wake up, you already know that these are the things that I have to do for today. So the next tip, which is still in line with the second tip, is to not overload your list. Now, I guess that when you want to write a to-do list, there is usually that urge to write 1,000,001 things on your to-do list. But trust me, it's going to end up backfiring on you, because I realized that on the days that I put too many things on my list, I just end up getting overwhelmed and not even doing any of them at all. So don't be tempted to put heaven and earth on your to-do list. Just get a sizable number of things that you know you can achieve for the day. Don't let it be too small, but at the same time, don't let it be too much. You know yourself, you know how much you can achieve in a day, you know how much work you can get done in a day. So just cut your coat according to your size, or how did they say that idiom again? The next tip I'll be sharing is stay off social media. See, when it comes to productivity, social media is your enemy. I believe it's something that we all know, but I just felt it was important to safe again. I noticed personally that anytime I spend a lot of time on social media shortly after I wake up in the morning, I usually end up feeling unmotivated. I don't feel like getting anything done. And even when I start getting things done, I find out that I still keep on going back to my phone, even when there is nothing that I'm doing on the phone. As much as possible, for the first few hours of your day, try not to get on social media, or even if it's like probably if it's urgent, you can just get to what you need to do. If it's to reply a message, just reply the message and immediately get off. Don't stay longer than you should, or you might end up regretting it. Fifth tip I'll be sharing is to take little breaks. Yeah, I get it, you want to be productive, but there is still the need to take little breaks between your tasks, because if you don't, you might just end up overworking yourself and feeling very burnt out and extremely tired at the end of the day. So it is advisable to spend some time to relax and just rest your head, just to get yourself together again before you go on with what you have to do. So the next tip is to give yourself reward. After the end of the day and you find out that you have done everything, or at least most of the things on your to-do list, it's just nice to give yourself a reward, to appreciate yourself for being productive, and also to motivate yourself to do better the next day. I don't really know how to explain the science behind it, but I just know that when you give yourself a reward after doing something, you are actually sending a message to your brain that makes you want to do that thing the more, so that you can reward yourself again, if you get what I mean. And the reward doesn't have to be something so big. It could just be something as little as getting yourself a snack, watching an episode of your favorite series or whatever it is you like to watch, or watching a YouTube video like mine, or anything else that will serve as a reward for you. The point is just to pat yourself on the back for being productive for that day. So the last tip I'll be sharing is discipline is key. This is kind of similar to the first point I mentioned, but they're actually different. It is one thing to make up your mind to be productive, and it is another thing to actually be productive. So the first point was actually emphasizing making up your mind to be productive, but now I'm talking about discipline, that is actually being productive. Because let's face it, even when you actually program your mind or tell yourself that you want to be productive, you still feel that urge to do other things that are not in line with what you have to do for that day. So that is where discipline comes in, where you tell yourself, whether you like it or not, that Fayo or whatever your name is, this is what you have to do today, and you just have to get it done today. Because actually, a lot of times, it's not like you don't want to be productive. At least for me, a lot of times when I want to be productive and I end up not being productive, it's not like I said that, okay, well, today I'm not just going to do anything, I'm just going to relax and rest. Most times I actually want to be productive, but there is just still that voice that is telling you to do something else, or just relax for a bit more, or just check social media a bit more, or just lie down in bed or whatever. So you just have to be disciplined enough to say no to that voice and obey the voice that is telling you to do the things that are right and the things that you have to do for the day. And if it's getting really bad, if you feel like no matter how hard you try, you end up still not being disciplined enough to do the things that you have to do, you can actually take it to God in prayer. You can tell God that, okay, I want to get things done, so can you just help me? Really, there is nothing you can't speak to God about, because indiscipline and lack of productivity are not fruits of the spirit. So trust Him to help you, and just make that conscious effort to be productive. Even when you find yourself slacking or getting distracted, just go back to your list. That's why having a list is important, and just keep at it, and before you know it, you end up having more productive days. You won't get there in one day, I can assure you, but over time, as you keep on doing it, it becomes something that you get used to, such that it becomes kind of like a second nature. So let me just go over all the points again. Set your mind to be productive, make use of to-do lists, don't overload your list, stay off social media, take little breaks, give yourself rewards, and the last one, discipline is key. Okay, so I already finished filming the video, but I just thought to also mention something that I believe is also very important. Now, one thing that we must also understand is that every day won't be a perfect day. There are some days that you have already planned out your day, you already planned out how you want your day to go, but then something comes up, and probably it's an emergency meeting or something that you did not plan for at the beginning of your day, and it might end up disrupting your plans. But please do not let that deter you. Still do the things that you can do, and if there are some things that you can't do, you can always get it done the next day. So don't let days like that draw you back from actually making the decision to be productive. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that these tips help you to have more productive days. And if there is a tip that I've not mentioned that has helped you personally to be more productive, please do not hesitate to share it in the comment section. Who knows, you might be helping someone else there. Also, please do also like the video if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not. So once again, thank you for watching. Until my next video, bye bye.